I'm John Jackson with Lease Option Classes here with Michael Carbonare from the Naked Investor. Just got through our first day of a class here in Atlanta, and I thought it went fantastic. We've got some great students here.
Sure do.
It's just a small class. We've got 6 students, which is really, I like to keep it that way, just a small group, because you get these gurus that have the 100 people, 75 people in a conference room, pushing them to the back of the room with their credit cards to buy their latest course and DVD, and you don't get anything from it. So, what's interesting, Michael? I could tell as the people were coming into this room this morning, and they saw that, wow, this is really a small class. And you could tell they were commenting about, they knew that they were going to get something out of this, that this was going to be close to one-on-one, but just a really tight class, tight group, and get some good information and some good feedback, and really get some valuable information that they could actually go somewhere and do something with it, rather than these big conventions they'd been to. Because I think some of them were talking to you, and they were talking to me as well. Most of the people in our class today have bought these courses that were $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, $20,000, and they got nothing for it. They were just a number, as you say, and a huge group of people. And I think they were so relieved to see, oh my gosh, this is so nice. It's a small group. This is the real deal.
Well, John, you're absolutely right. One of the reasons I agreed to do this with you, despite my abhorrence of you, is that you took an approach that I agree with, and that is small group and personal one-on-one assistance. When you have 6 people in a room, like you just said, it's a lot easier to see where somebody's failing or falling behind. You can grab them by the hand and say, hey, here's, let me give you some assistance. And I think the feedback from the audience, when you talk with them later on, will tell you just that. If you're one of 75 people in a room, the gurus who give those classes, know full well that of the 75 people, 70 are probably never even going to make a damn phone call.
Never.
And they don't care. When we do it our way, it's personal, it's hands-on, it's one-on-one. The chances for succeeding are much greater. And I like this approach. I don't have to do this, John. As much as I enjoy getting away from my family, coming here and doing this is something I enjoy. But the pleasure I get out of it is seeing somebody succeed. There's a real rush for me still to see somebody get that first deal done. I can make more money without the travel and aggravation, staying home and doing a deal. But this gives me, good feedback when I see somebody succeed. So this approach that you've decided to come with, 6, 7, maybe 10 people at most in a classroom, is right on. It really works.
Yeah, and you're right. I can certainly make a lot more money staying at home, doing the deals at home, than bringing everything here, traveling, and doing a class. But it's it's not about selling a bunch of stuff. It's about I've been there, done that, and so have you. Where I remember 8 years ago when I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know how to start a business. I didn't know what an LLC was. I didn't know any of this. And I certainly didn't know what a lease option was. And so I've been there, done that, and I know there's a lot of people there where I was 8 years ago, and I want to be able to show them, here's how you do it. Here's the step-by-step on how you do it. Here's how you build your system and build your company and really develop something that can produce income and help people at the same time. And that's certainly a far cry from what they're going to get from the packed seminar rooms. These, come to our free, weekend real estate seminar.
Right.
Oh no, by the way, bring your credit card, and I hope you have an American Express Black card with no limit, because we're going to ding you. We're going to ding you hard.
Right.
And which really, it amazes me. This week, this weekend, I got contacted by a person that had paid $21,000. $21,000 for a real estate course, which I assume had multiple. Does
that come with their first house?
Yeah, you get your first house free. The course is 21 grand, but your first house is free. And but this person's not the first one to contact me. And I gotta say, I'm a little shocked that it just makes my jaw drop. First of all, that someone could pay $21,000 for a course, but secondly, that someone would have the audacity to take $21,000 from somebody to sell them, a load of garbage.
A couple of DVDs.
I mean, we've got our course. It's a 4-day course for under $3,000, and you and I were talking about it earlier. I could not, in my heart, take $21,000 from somebody.
Even if I could get that money from someone,
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either.
I couldn't do it, you know.
It's
Especially
bogus.
when I saw a bunch of,
That's
here's some
bogus.
DVDs and stuff.
And you're
good
taking
luck.
somebody's, probably somebody wanting to break into this business, they've got $21,000, and this is that's a last-ditch effort for them to try and, you know, break out of the cycle of whatever cycle of, you know, of the rat race that they're trying to get out of. And you're taking a last bit of money, and when they ask you a question, you say, you know what, that's a good question, Mary, and that's in my next program if you want to upgrade.
Yes, yes, and you know, because I've been to those seminars, you know, the freebies, et cetera, where they get you all pumped up and everything, and you sign up, and oh, this is great. Oh, by the way, now we've got our gold level. You know, you're like,
Right.
oh my gosh, well, that's how I want to make it.
Right.
You know, and which is just. It's just a crime.
Yeah, the first 15,000 was just the basics.
Yeah.
You know, and now another 5,000, we give you the key, the magic words. And I remember years ago, in fact, he's on YouTube as a spoof, and his name is Tom Vu. You remember little Vietnamese guy? Yeah, you remember he had a
some
yacht.
hot chicks on a
he
yacht.
had a yacht
yeah.
and bikinis all over the place. I don't know whatever happened to that guy, but if you ever want to get a good laugh,
he served time.
Did he really?
Yeah.
With you?
He did serve time with me, and I call him my mini Vu.
But he was.
He would suck in the bottom bunk.
I mean, he might be one of the funniest infomercials that was ever produced.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah, I believe he actually ended up. You know, it's interesting. You know what's interesting? You can Google some of these people's names, and you can start finding court records. When I was seriously, when I was trading, I'll give you an example. Years ago, when I was just wanting to learn about the stock market. I kind of, you kind of can take that same angle to real estate. I knew nothing about the stock market, but I knew I wanted to learn, and so you start reading books and going online and trying to absorb this information about something you have no clue about. Which the stock market, just like real estate, there's so much to it, you know. So there's so much information out there. There was a book that I read about options, and I liked it because. It seemed very simple, very basic, the way the guy wrote it was just, oh, I think I get this now. Well, then he had a second book. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, now I'm going to read this book. This wasn't a course, just a book. You know what, I'm going to read this book now because I liked his first book was very simple. I got a second book, and I'm reading through it, and by about the second chapter, third chapter, I'm like, wait a minute, this is the same book I just read. I got both his books side by side. It was the same book. There were a few couple little differences, like and instead of if. It was the same book. I thought, I have been ripped off. I've been ripped off. It's kind of it reminds me of the Andy Kaufman movie with Jim Carrey. I can't remember the name of Man on the Moon. I can't remember the name of it. The REM song was Man on the Moon, but. Andy Kaufman, who's was in Taxi, it was a comic from years ago. Well, Jim Carrey did what I thought should have been, an Emmy, not Emmy, but some award-winning rendition of Andy Kaufman. Unbelievable. At the end of that movie, Andy Kaufman has, I don't know if it's cancer, but he's very sick, and so he's trying to figure out what he can do to get better. So he goes to like some Indonesian island somewhere, and he's sitting there, and these people, the villagers, are all lined up for the doctor to fix them, and the doctor has fake intestines and fake whatever that it looks like he's pulling out of people, and they get up and they go, "Oh, we're so much better," like a fake healer. But you don't realize that Andy Kaufman, Jim Carrey, lays down, thinking, "I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better," and he looks down, and he sees the show. He sees what's going on behind the scenes. That it's fake stuff. That we're pulling the sickness out of you, And he just starts laughing because he gets it. Oh my gosh, I've been had. And that's what with this book I had with the real estate seminars, the $21,000 seminars and courses. It's to me it's a Jim Carrey, Andy Kaufman moment,
it is. It is.
You're desperate for something. And you realize, oh my gosh, I've been.
Well, what we did today, and what you're going to do for the next couple of days, is the total opposite antithesis of that. I like the way we've divided it, where I break it down so that they understand. They have hopefully at the end of the day, they had a very clear understanding of what lease purchasing is and isn't. The way I present it, and also you added in a lot of your angles. And another thing I think they got from today was we're two real guys. You know, I didn't put myself up there as somebody. You know, you can't be like me. We came off, I think, as two very guys, just two real guys, just like them. And also, we have, while we do the same thing, we take a different approach on certain things, and I think that shows people in the audience that, you know, it isn't only one way. It's not a cookie cutter. You can do this and succeed, but add your own twist to it and still make it work, and I think that was a very valuable part of today's lesson.
Oh, definitely, because you know, of course, I learned lease options from you, and then I took the basic knowledge, the concept of lease options that you had broken down, and then said, you know what, I like this. There's something here. I'm going to build a business based on this concept, and took what your concept, I mean, what you taught me, and built leasing to buy, which is my own whole twist. And so you're right, and I really enjoy that as you're presenting and giving your experiences and talking with me, you know, interjecting and saying, now here's something else I've seen, or here's something else I do, or here's how I approach something. You know, it allows them to see that you know, there's not one way to do it right. That they're going to have this information and be able to tweak it, you know, for. No,
everybody has to understand that you know, it's their business. They're going to run it their way. You know, there's more than one way to succeed in this business. There's more than one way to do a lease option. I think at the end of the day, they realize that. You know, now you've got 3 more days playing with these people. What are you going to emphasize?
You know, what's interesting is the reason that you and I had come together on these classes is because I used to do one-on-one training, mentoring, just like you had. But what I trained was really the business side and the structure and the systems. Even though I have lease option classes, what was interesting is I didn't really teach lease options. And so I said, you know, I've got to get, you know, the guy in here to teach the lease option side, which is where you came in. So now
I'm the guy.
You are the guy.
Wow. You
know, at least in the immediate 10-foot square radius area. And so now they've got this basic knowledge and this very good understanding of lease options. Now for the next 3 days, it's a cram session of, okay, now you have this information. Here's how we're going to build a company, because I think that's so important. Because I mean, you know me. You've seen my posts on Naked Investor. I don't take this as a hobby, and I probably, you know, irritated some people with my hard-nosed, you know, mindset of this is a business, because I don't have a choice. I've got to make money. I've got to put food on the table. This isn't a hobby. This isn't for fun. Here's how you build a company. And so I've been there, done that, where I didn't know how, and so I'm going to show them how to, the first day, build a company, the things that they need to know that they're not going to learn in business school, the real road, you know, the real world business stuff, how to structure this now, and then take that and, okay, now here's the systems you want in place, because it's all about cookie cuttering and how you're going to, you know, duplicate this over and over, and then how to build the business model and the systems around that so that they actually have a business model. Because the purpose, I think, here is, with my company, Leasing to Buy, is people can go to our website. They know that you know, I'm not just some you know, investor in a closet trying to, you know, make some calls and trying to make some money here. This is a business. I run it like a business. It's a system that we have, and it's very professional. And so it's about helping these people build that professional company so that they get more and more deals. People are more comfortable with them because they realize, you know, they're not just some fly-by-night person. This is a serious, you know, business, and they're trying to build a company based around it.
Well, I'm pretty confident, John, that when they left today, when the day was done, after sitting through my torturous, you know, 6 hours, whatever it was, I'm confident saying that they probably know more than 95% of the other investors out there who claim to be lease purchase experts or investors. I mean, they know enough right now. They know about lease purchasing. And what they need now is to be able to wrap it all together and use it as a business model, which is where you come in. So again, I like this format we have. They know lease purchasing inside and out now. I also left them with I pounded them over the head with, you know, today is the first day. It's not the last day. I am very accessible. They can contact me. They have my phone numbers. They have my email. There's no reason they should have any hesitancy to contact me, whether it's in a week, I told them in a year. There's no time frame. This is the first day, not the last day. So between what I imparted them, the information I gave them today, with the encouragement to contact me, followed with 3 days of intensive learning with you, the only thing stopping them from succeeding is a lack of effort. I really believe that.
No, you're exactly right. And they're going to leave here with so much information. And I told them about this, that they're going to go home with information overload. And that's why, on the last day of the class, what I do is, one of the things I do is break down, okay, here's the first 4 or 5, 6 things you want to do. Get these things in place, and here's the action you want to start taking. Because we were talking about paralysis of analysis. You've heard about paralysis of analysis where people get so much information, and then you're paralyzed because you're analyzing the data.
Exactly.
And the best way to break it, if not the only way, is action. I'll say it's the only way to break it, really. You've got to take some action. So I tell them, okay, here's specifically what you want to do. Today, I said, before you come to class tomorrow, you're going to have a URL that we're going to build a website around based on that URL, because I'm serious about let's get this going.
It'll be interesting to see what they come up with tomorrow.
Yeah, I am too. I'm curious to see what they come up with. But there's no reason for them not to have it. And when I started leasing to buy, I just want to say I had no choice because I loathed my job. I hated my job. And as this was coming, I was trying to get this together, I was like, this is it. I got to make this happen because otherwise I'm just going to die miserably.
Right.
And it's amazing how well you can swim, when there's a shark chase.
Exactly.
That shark is your 9-to-5 job.
Exactly.
Or the cancer growing on you that I call the 9-to-5 job. But so I had no choice, and so I really harp on them moving forward about taking action. I give them specific action steps to take. I've been doing this for 8 years. You've been, how long is it now for you? 15, 6, I don't know.
Well, let's see. I'm probably pushing. I've been married 18 years, and I got started around, I'd say 18, 19 years.
Okay, all right.
And about 2 years, 18, 19 years, and I'd say about, let's say 16 years specifically focusing on lease purchasing. That's when I met Claude.
Yeah. I've been doing this for, March will be 8, well, March is when I actually started, had it all together. So March of, so I'm right about 8 years is how long I've been doing this. So, and of course I'd met you almost 8 years ago, I guess, because I'd met you as I was getting the website and things put together, which I didn't know what I was doing. And, went to the Naked Investor quite a bit, asked some of the basic questions that everybody does. What about this? What about that? And at some point, I guess I was just so driven, I said, I'm going to do it. And you know what, I made a lot of mistakes.
We all do.
You look your wounds and go on. Nothing's going to kill you. You make a mistake, you go, okay, well, I'll remember that next time, and you move on.
Mistakes only a bad thing if you don't learn from it. We've all made our mistakes. I've lost money in deals. You look back and you say, how the hell could I have been so stupid?
Yeah. And I will say this. I've learned in 8 years. I've learned far more from my mistakes than from my successes. I can look at a deal where I made $8,000 or whatever. I didn't learn anything from it.
It's cookie cutter deal.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I mean, that's fantastic. But I didn't learn anything from it. But I can look at the deals where I've made mistakes and go, yeah, I remember, and that's why I do this. That's why I've got this in place.
And
that's why I do this
wrong.
way.
Yeah, I agree.
So I definitely learned so much more from my mistakes. So people shouldn't be afraid of making mistakes. You've got to take the action. No, you're going to make mistakes, and that's how you learn.
But the one thing, people fear making mistakes, and I think that's where we come in.
Oh, yeah.
By telling them, you're not on your own. You may still make mistakes, but it's going to be a hell of a lot smaller than it would be if you did it on your own. So I think we come in to help people to override that fear of being on my own. And if I invest in this property, it's the last $5,000 I got. I can't afford to make a mistake. Well, we can help. Soothe over those nerves that come with getting that first deal done. So I think we're offering a valuable commodity at a great price, and I have no doubt, I'm very confident that these people are going to succeed.
Yeah, and it's so important to have that support system. When I started, of course, I leaned heavily on you and Naked Investor for some of the basic information, my questions that everybody has, and now that we have the classes, again, they can contact you or go to. I tell everybody, you've got to sign up for Naked Investor because just because of the forum and because you're there. I pop in a few times a week and we'll make responses as well. Of course, they can contact you via email or phone, myself via email or phone. And if they have a question, or if they have an issue or something, I want to know about it because I don't want to see them fail. I want to see them succeed. Right. And I think that's certainly something that sets us apart from any other course that's out there. Is the support system that are in place to help them get going.
I agree. We're good to go, man. We're good to go.
All right.
You pay for the beer, I'm drinking it.
All right, here you go.